Welcome all and welcome everyone to another episode of Red Jacks On. As the night rests and Christmas draws closer, we are back to warm your winter cold December. So fear not, because we are here. I am your host, Serhan, and with me as always are my nearest and dear.
Charles St. Charlius, fuck it.
Double
down.
Saint Rickmas. Ho, ho,
ho. Oh, yeah.
Frazzle Bells.
Frazzle Bells.
Oh, he switched it.
Fraser's 2 for 2, you know. I bet his whole wall is just covered in Christmas puns, and it's like,
I've been thinking about this for weeks, mate.
Right. I'm going to start off. I'm going to read the little heading and title of this, and then we'll jump into it. So, I start. Welcome all to Red Jacks On, where we talk, discuss, and jokes follow on. This episode is a festive mystery as I explain Santa Claus, a very merry history.
Nice.
Do you know what? I actually guessed that you were going to do something like this.
Yeah, boy.
History of Santa Claus. I kind of knew it.
You need some bells in the background.
Ding, ding, ding.
Well, I was going to say, and I am going to say, I've done my own little bit of background research today of cue the royalty-free Christmas music now. Something chill, something nice. But now.
Jangle balls, jangle balls.
Not quite. There's a lot of audio
Man
stuff out there.
smells Batman.
Yeah, I've been researching this for the last maybe 3 weeks. I don't know why it popped into my head. I was like, yeah, I'll do this. And I'll be honest with you, I've enjoyed it so much. It's put me in such a festive mood just to research it.
Oh, nice. Have you got decorations up, anything like that?
Oh, dude, we went in. Like, we got lights around and stuff, but we also made our own Christmas tree.
So, made your own? Out of what?
Nice.
Yeah. Well, we were going to crochet it, but I was like, okay, we didn't have the time. So we kind of... I know. It's gone to the next level.
Jesus, that would have been mad.
It's actually not that bad. You just crochet rings and then just place them on top. But when I last went to London, I got my dad to make me a wooden base, beautiful, like hardwood base, and then just almost like a skeleton of a tree, like little like wooden like dowels that meet in the middle, so like a pyramid shape. And then all we did was just get really small, long tinsel and just wrapped it around the tree consecutively. Threaded the lights in there. I bought some baubles and we made our own little Christmas like decorations and stuff.
Oh,
that's cool. Cute. That's cute.
Yeah.
You could have just cut down a tree.
That was my first choice, and there's a lot in Scotland. But then I saw the other two look at me. Okay. So, yes, cue the royalty-free Christmas music. So I start today. It was the night before Christmas, all through the house. Not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. Stockings were hung, and children in beds dreamed of sugar plums dancing in their heads. Out on the lawn, such a clatter did sound, a miniature sleigh and 8 reindeer around. Old Saint Nick, lively and quick, delivered toys in a moment's tick. The moment on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the luster of midday to the objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his courses they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, Donner and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. And down the chimney he came with a bound, dressed in fur, gifts all around. His eyes twinkled, his dimples how merry, a right jolly old elf, plump and cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held in his teeth, and the smoke, it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. And laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim as he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Ho, ho, motherfuckers! That was my own ad-lib.
That was good, mate. Did you write that?
That was really in-depth. I like the rhymes.
Thank you very much.
Bars.
I've done really well.
Bars.
Did that say that that Santa was an elf? Or that he had an elf? It did say he was.
He was an elf.
Oh,
that's
crap.
law, mate. That's law.
I'm glad you touched on that. So that was a very shortened version for our more well-versed Christmas.
Jesus.
That was a very shortened version. It was like, I put 8 verses aside. It must have been like 12.
What?
Maybe 14. Yeah. When I was like, let me research full version of this poem. Dude, I just took the highlights. So for anyone that's more well-versed in this, that was a shortened version of A Visit from St. Nicholas, or also known as 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, by Clement Clark Moore, a professor of literature and theology. The poem was written on the night of December 24th, 1822, composed at Moore's home in Manhattan, NYC, Chelsea. Moore wrote the poem as a Christmas present for his 6 children. It wasn't initially intended for publication, but a family friend submitted it to the Troy Sentinel, a newspaper in upstate New York. The poem was first published anonymously on December 23rd, 1823. The poem gained immediate popularity and was reprinted in various newspapers and magazines. It struck a chord with readers due to its whimsical and magical depiction of Santa Claus and the enchanting atmosphere it created. Over the years, the poem became synonymous with Christmas in the United States and contributed significantly to the shaping modern image of Santa Claus. And that, as mentioned, is what this Red Jacks On's Christmas special podcast is specifically about. The man, the myth, and the legend. Santa Claus, St. Nick, Father Christmas, and the man himself. What are we thinking, boys?
Man, I'm not interested, to be honest. Don't really give a shit about this.
Christmas. Scrooge all the way.
Bah, humbug.
Yeah.
I'll get my Plan B podcast out. That could be the next one. I'll be like, the Grinch, the Scrooge, fucking
Scrooge.
All the villains of Christmas.
That's what the tester was. If you guys were like, yay, Christmas humbug, let's carry on. It's like, I hate Christmas humbug. I'm like, and Plan B. I'll turn to this.
That would have been sick if you actually had that plan.
That actually would be, but I haven't got that time and energy, boys.
This one is 18 pages.
This one is 18. So, intro aside now, we jump into this. So the first segment, I call this Infancy, Mystery, and History. Going to be a lot of rhyming puns in this.
History.
So our journey into the historical evolution of Father Christmas begins in the archives of history. Emerging from the pagan symbol and image for the arrival of spring, imagined as a figure with a long hooded green cloak. Around the 5th to 11th centuries, under Saxon rule in the medieval period, the image evolved and embraced the characteristics of Father Time, coming from the ancient Roman god of time, Saturn, symbolizing the cyclical nature of seasons and the passage of time. The Viking age of Yuletide, the Norse and pagan celebration of the winter solstice, furthered this evolution with influences from the Norse god Odin, associated with wisdom and gift-giving, roughly 8th to the 11th century. Jumping to the Norman invasion of England in 1066 now, also brought and blended the legend of St. Nicholas into the Father Christmas tradition. So from 1066 to 1644, during the Puritan ban on Christmas, the Mummers Play, so-called, which is a traditional folks play performed during the Christmas season, helped preserve the idea of Father Christmas in this time by showcasing him and allowing the tradition and imagery associated with him to endure. This helped keep alive the spirit of Christmas and the figure of Father Christmas during a period when such celebrations faced restriction. Victorian times, spanning from the early 19th to the 20th century, saw the revival of Father Christmas merging with the St. Nicholas's traits through American influence in the 19th century, resulting in the jolly figure we recognize today. This fusion of pagan symbolism, Father Times, and Norse mythology laid the foundation for the creation of the modern-day Santa Claus, a timeless symbol of generosity and joy during the holiday season.
So he wasn't
goes back that far.
Yeah, I know.
He wasn't like Father Christmas back then, was he? Like, What did he have
It was
before he was Saint Nick or associated with Saint Nick? Did he have? Was there any kind of recorded name or anything like that?
Not to my knowledge, because I think even
It's interesting.
I think there's even, I can't remember exactly. I might have mentioned some of that. I know there is a difference between Father Christmas and Santa Claus. I think one is more, I think Father Christmas is the British name for it, and Santa Claus is the Americanized name of it. To my knowledge. But so I'm going to go
Coke,
more.
though, right?
Pardon?
Wasn't it Coke that kind of designed the Father Christmas that we know of, the red and white big?
We shall be touching upon that, my friend, as
all
we
right.
touch upon. So this will be for our listeners.
Spoilers.
That's all right. Son of a bitch. But you can listen to the podcast around the Christmas tree with the family on the wireless, because that's what you do, right?
Millions of people
On
all
the
around the world
wireless.
every year.
Millions of people
Thousands
every
of
year.
years.
Clinging
Even though this
to
is our
every
first
word.
ever Christmas episode, this is already a tradition. And we're going to need to write a whole podcast about how we became Christmas tradition.
Oh,
we are Christmas.
We are the Red Jackson. We're the Red Jacksons.
Red Jack. Red
We
jacket.
are.
Oh my god, it's all coming together.
All of a sudden, you just see like me, like just take my beard, like rip my face. I'm like,
oh my god!
I knew it all along.
It's a Santa.
Oh, wahoo!
Wahoo! Oh!
Nintendo would shut that down.
Hell yeah, man! You just see a gun pop up next to my head.
Oh
Say
no!
it again, bitch. Say it again. Oh no! Right. So now we move on to the real Santa Claus, Slayer or Masquerader. And obviously Slayer's spelled as Slay, because you can't see that. Yeah, I was going to say, not like Killer Slayer.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been interesting.
I wrote that down. I was like, this is so good. And I heard it and I was like, oh no, it's going to make him sound like some sort of like freaking like
action hero.
Yeah, action hero or something, like some sort of wrestler.
The Slayer.
Oh, it's the Slayer. Get down.
Santa.
Get to the reindeer.
Can you imagine that if Santa had a body count? He's going around delivering presents to kids and he's like, I've killed 700 men.
What do you think the sack is really for? The sack was white. It just gets, he's like, my suit was white, but the blood of my enemies died in red. Whoa! That's kind of twisted, but a new bike. Thanks, Santa. No problem. So Slayer or Masquerader. So this is the real Santa Claus. So our magical and festive journey continues with the real life Santa Claus, St. Nicholas, noted as a compassionate yet shy 3rd century monk born in Patara, Asian Minor, which is now modern day Turkey, around 280 AD. Inherited wealth made him a rich bishop who, clad in red bishop's clothes and robes, quietly traversed the land, earning a reputation for kindness and helping the poor. One of the legends associated with him is that one day, wanting to save 3 impoverished sisters from the life of slavery, he gave the dowry needed to save them. The legend goes that he gave money first to the eldest daughter, but not wanting anyone to know, he dropped some gold coins down the chimney. These landed in a stocking hung up to dry by the fireplace and belonging to one of the daughters. He repeated the same generous act for the second daughter. Now, the father, curious about who was helping their family, waited up and discovered St. Nicholas doing the same for his third and youngest daughter. All the coins landed in stockings hung up to dry, becoming the origin of the Christmas stocking tradition. The bishop, as in St. Nick, upon being discovered, asked the father not to tell anyone else, as he didn't want to draw attention to himself. But rumors got out and he became known for his gifts.
Wow.
The children and the poor. He had like a secret webcam in the corner, like the teddy bear cam or something. I got you on camera, bitch. So that's I'm going to read a bit more about him, but this is kind of the guy. This is the introduction, at least for this portion of the introduction. Influence on him, especially more in the Western world.
Did you guys do stockings?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I think I might have done it once or twice, but not religiously, if that makes sense, not continuously.
Oh, really? What about you, Fraser? Did you?
We didn't really do like proper stockings. We did like pillowcases.
Really?
More in a pillowcase than a stocking, surely.
Well, I could
Well,
crochet a stocking if anyone wants one.
Mate, my Christmas stocking was
Fucking
fucking huge, man. I used to it was massive. Like, I'm so glad
Could
I
you
lost
fit
it.
yourself in it?
Yeah, as a kid, I definitely could have climbed
Crazy.
inside it. It was massive. Not saying that I
Crazy.
got huge presents. I wasn't privileged or anything, but I did have stockings. Like every morning, that would be like every Christmas. We'd me and my sisters would like sneak into the same room and like look at the presents in our stockings. Not actually open them, but just like look at them and stuff. Yeah, just like that was always a tradition
Right.
for us having
Did
stockings.
you do the as I'm sure as every kid did, what I call the touch test? Like you didn't open it, but you just like, is it soft?
Touched everything.
Is it
Yeah.
hard? Yeah.
I
Is it
think I
like
know what this is.
this is a toy? I can feel the cardboard at the back. This is this, or this is a games case.
And
Oh, this is
analysis.
it really is.
Yeah.
I hated that shit. I think me and my sister kind of built a tradition because we went through that stage. Like, Mom, Dad, please let us open a present. And sometimes there might be something small that we're like, yeah, go for it. But 9 out of 10, they're like, no, wait for the day. So me and my sister would always wait up till midnight and be like, well, it's 12:01. It's the 25th. Pick a small gift and let's open it. So we kind of became our small tradition.
You're
Mm.
we used to do
you're
kind
just
of the same
annoying
thing,
kids.
Man.
True. I think every Christmas Eve we used to have a small present that we'd get, and then we used to open one small present on Christmas Eve, and that would be like the little taster for Christmas Day, and then we'd save the rest for actual Christmas. But yeah, Christmas Eve was always like, you know, those little small dairy milk trays of like fudge and curly whirlies, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It was usually like a small wrapped present like that we normally open for Christmas Eve. So when you're a kid, getting chocolates on Christmas was like top
The
tier
shit.
anyway. So
Yeah.
that's all you
Yeah.
ever really want. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was the tradition for us.
That's sweet, man.
That's
So
cute.
yeah, that's kind of where the stocking thing come from. So carrying on, the legend of St. Nicholas only reached Britain after the Norman invasion in 1066, where it merged with the existing Father Christmas tradition. Over the years, Nicholas's popularity grew, and he became the protector of, and this was a bit strange, I had to look into it, a protector of children and sailors. This is because Nicholas is also said to have visited the Holy Land. The ship he was on was nearly destroyed by a terrible storm, but he rebuked the waves, causing the storm to subside. Thus, Nicholas became venerated as the patron saint of sailors and travelers. There was also a little extra bit of like his official speculated home or yard in the Holy Land was like almost like down the road from Bethlehem, where Jesus was, sort of born, and there is like a chapel or something there, but I didn't add it in. I was trying to really bite-size the information.
Oh, fair.
His feast day is celebrated on December 6th, marks the anniversary of his death, and was considered lucky for significant events like purchases or marriages.
So purchases and marriages?
Yeah, like people would say, oh, December 6th is a lucky day, so we're going to like, I don't know, buy a house on this day. We're going to get married on this day. It just was considered...
like a lucky day.
Like a fortunate, which I never really associated it to December 6th. Like,
no, hadn't heard of that actually. Yeah, it sounds like this guy was just kind of going around living his life,
breaking into houses.
there was somebody like just making rumors and like leaking his information and stuff to make him into like this deity type figure.
Well, he became a saint, and as Christmas is, the core of it is to a certain extent, at least not modern, but the core of it is an element of spiritual and religious impact and influence. So if he was a saint, it kind of transcended him to this more Christmassy figure. But at the end of the day, maybe he was just caught stealing in someone's house and like, are you putting a coin in my bag? And he was like, yes, I'm putting it in. I'm not taking it out.
Here's another one not to mention this.
Yeah. I bet that is actually what it was, something along those lines. He was actually trying to steal, but if he got caught, he'd pretend he was putting it in and be like, shh, don't tell anyone. I'm like actually doing something good. He could have just been stealing from everyone, really.
That was his threat. It was like, ho, ho, holy land. It was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Don't you think it is weird, though, that someone just decided to do this shit? Like, it is kind of weird, isn't it? Was he okay?
Yeah.
Was he alone? Was he lonely? Was he just... Were they actually his legitimate kids, and that's why he was putting the things down the chimney? Maybe they were his kids, and he was actually just trying to look out. There's so many questions.
They were really his kids. They were actually his. I think the power of word of mouth and the way people will advertise it, because we live in an era where we're so connected and things are so around, but we've got more of we're more skeptical of things and a bit more pragmatic and objective. Whereas back then, you're hearing about it. As you keep repeating a story over and over again, you start to probably add variations and exaggerates or changes and adapts to the people. So I can imagine the word of mouth of this alone becoming such a powerful imagery. Whereas if we hear something now, even this word of mouth, I'll go, let me Google it. And then you see it and you're like, okay. It loses the mystery immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All they had back then was stories, really. Sorry to cut you off, just adding on to it. But yeah, I feel like back in I can't believe how far back this goes. I mean, it must basically go back as far as the Bible, because it is, pagan. And the idea of Christmas Day was already a festive holiday, right? So it's mad how far back it goes. The
pagan festivity of the whole solstice is when the nights get shorter and the days get longer.
It's a seasonal type thing.
Yeah, it's a seasonal thing, and obviously celebration
harvest.
Of that. And it's the solstice celebration that got moved from, I think it's the springtime when the days get a bit longer, and it got moved to December. So it's the same sort of celebration, but moved. Right. Just like how Easter is a pagan celebration of fertility.
And it jumps. Yeah.
And it jumps, and it became about rabbits because obviously you know.
Is it connected
produce like rabbits?
Is it connected to Yule? Is that something you touch on?
Yeah, the Yuletide, and which I'm going to mention as well as we go on. That's more Germanic.
Okay.
As we kind of move forward. So obviously these, the modern day Christmas, and as I'm going to go into later, different cultures have different variations of perspectives, but the generalized consensus of Christmas now, the sort of the foundation of it, is an amalgamation of just loads of different things as it is. Different cultures doing different things, and someone just picked and chose it, and it just became more and more commercial.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Really cool.
So to finish off Saint Nick, by the 15th to 17th century, which is the Renaissance era, Saint Nicholas was the most popular saint in Europe, maintaining a positive reputation even after the Protestant Reformation. The Dutch celebration of Sinterklaas, depending on pronunciation, contributed to the evolution of Santa Claus we know today. St. Nicholas's legacy endures, shaping the modern image of Santa Claus as a symbol of generosity and goodwill, embodying the spirit of Christmas.
Well, yeah, that's him now, isn't it? That's basically it. We're up to date. Basically. That wasn't that long, mate. That was a good podcast. Well done,
Claus is coming.
Well, he did kind of start off as... Well, you're going to see every segment kind of adds an extra layer on. Because I was like, this is the history done. And then I was like, actually, I've not asked this question. And there was all this interesting info. And then I was like, what about this area? And I was like, this is interesting as well.
Yes.
So the next segment is called Santa Claus, the Red, White, and Yule. I thought you'd like that one.
I do like that one.
I did. Fucking awful.
That was genius. Okay, I had to think of all this up myself. So now the creation and origins are out of the way, we move on to why old Mr. Claus looks the way he does. We begin this story in the early 19th century with John Pintard, a New Yorker and antiquarian who played a pivotal role in selecting St. Nicholas as a symbol for Christmas celebration. So this is kind of the most modernization, most up-to-date of why St. Nick is such a direct influence of the man himself, of Santa Claus.
So what's an antiquarian?
I don't know. I had to put in what he is or who he is, but I actually didn't know. I know it's his profession.
Because an aquarium is like a cage for fish. So I thought it's like anti-cages.
Antiquarian. I think
antiquarian.
It looks like antiques, right?
Yeah, dealing with antiques or rare books.
Yeah.
The study
How
of
does a guy dealing with antiques or rare books come across the duty to design Santa Claus? How the fuck does that happen?
Where is all the info about this Saint Nick going to be? In books, and very old books.
Okay, but what, did someone give him this task?
Rikesh, I did not go in that depth. Okay, you want an 18-page podcast?
You ruined the podcast, mate. You ruined the podcast.
The reason he had to look all this stuff up, he was doing a podcast and he had to get all this information ready. So he went for all these old books and then he became Santa Claus himself.
They were called scrollcasts back then.
The Scrollcast.
Scrollcast.
Yay! Scrollcast. Love it. So yes. So he was a pivotal role in selecting Saint Nick. Influenced by Dutch traditions, Pintard chose Saint Nicholas, also known as Santa Claus. I don't know why it's going to spell like that. Whose attire as a bishop was a tradition depicted in red, as mentioned above. Now, moving on to the publication of The History of New York by Washington Irving, an American author, essayist, and historian, also significantly contributed to the shaping of the figure of Father Christmas. In his work, published in 1809 under the pseudonym of Dietrich Knickerbocker, heard of it, don't know why.
It's got Nick in there.
It's got Nick in there. So Irving, this author, in this publication of the History of New York, satirized Dutch traditions, sort of kind of took the piss a little bit, portraying a jolly St. Nicholas who flew on a wagon delivering gifts. While not directly influencing the color and attire of Santa Claus, Irving's work contributed to the evolving image of Santa Claus in the early 19th century. Who knew his jokes and satires and almost caricature perspective of Dutch traditions would so directly influence the idea of Santa today?
So he was taking the piss.
Kind of. It was like, this is like, he drew him in a wagon basically and kind of like lended itself to the sleigh now. And it was like, this is what the Dutch believe. I don't know how much positive or negative vibe there was to it, but it just says he had a satire of it. So I don't think it was meant too like racistly or something, but yeah, he was basically taking the piss a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. You go traveling, you see something funny. Like, I mean, to be fair, like when we went to Amsterdam and we saw the parade going through the street, we had many questions. We took the piss out of it a bit.
Was strange.
We got pelted with candy.
Yeah,
that was strange. Like a shotgun of cookies, man. Boom!
So weird to look
Fraser, at. An hour to cross the road. I could see the piercing store. I just wanted to get an earring. Nope. I had to wait for this freaking parade to walk past with Fraser. We had ice cream and waited for an hour.
This guy
very weird to look out your window and just see a load of people in the street with blackface. It was very unsettling.
Yeah, and all these kids.
What's his name? Stinky Pete.
Stinky Pete. Oh god damn.
Pete. I would still much rather go to.
Was it Stinky Pete?
It might be Black.
No, Stinky Pete's Disney, isn't it?
Stinky Pete's something. I think it was Black Pete, wasn't it?
I think
Black Pete. I think it was just Black Pete. But god damn.
I will also touch upon that as we move on.
Oh, you're going to touch on Black Pete?
I'm going to touch on Black Pete. I'm going to touch him. I'm going to touch upon him.
Oh, okay.
Going to wipe the blackface over. Like, get off, motherfucker. So, of course, as mentioned above, the poem A Visit from St. Nicholas in 1823, or more better known as The Night Before Christmas by Clement Clarke Moore, played a crucial role in shaping the modern image of Santa Claus with the introduction and ideas of reindeer and sleigh, as well as his physical description, with the poem providing a vivid description with phrases like, he was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, his eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry, carrying a sack of toys, contributing to the jolly, cheerful portrayal, emphasizing the generosity and gift-giving nature of Santa Claus. Furthermore, the poem gave definition to his chimney descent, as the poem describes Santa's entrance into homes. More like breaking and entering, but there we go. And the less associated in modern times, as we heard in the poem above, his smoking pipe, with the inclusion of details such as the stump of a pipe he held in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. The cumulative effect of these poetic descriptions contributed to the popularizing and solidifying the visual and narrative elements we now commonly associate with the modern figure of Santa Claus.
Okay.
I kind of have probably some old school memories of imagery of Santa standing there, almost like the Coca-Cola ad with the bottle, but he's got the smoking pipe.
And wearing all fur.
And wearing sort of the fur, but he kind of, you don't really associate it now to modernism in the modern times because of the whole smoking culture and perspective, but I still have an image of that smoke around him.
Also the fur, because that implies that either he's like a hunter or like he condones that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he condones wearing dead animals.
I think now it's become, I mean, the fur is still kind of present, but it's not really looked at fur as much, right? You'd call it that, but it's like the red coat with the
fur.
Yeah, not anymore.
Like fluff.
Now it's like
More
the trimmings around his collars and around his sleeves. But realistically speaking,
polar bear.
You would only describe it as fat. Like, that's a polar bear. It's just that really like the Santa Claus with a body count. He's just there with his elves in the North Pole, like, oh, like killing the fucking. Who wants a fucking?
You watch Vikings, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But, when Bjorn goes out
yeah.
and he fights that bear, he just does that like after on Boxing Day, like.
That is actually the origin of Santa. That's how he came around.
Bjorn Ironside. He never died.
You're damn right, man. The imagery of him. So, moving on to the 1870s, the American cartoonist Thomas Nast played a crucial role in shaping the modern image of Santa Claus. In his 33 illustrations between 1863 and 1886 for Harper's Weekly magazine, Nast depicted Santa in various colors, including green and brown, and introducing the modern red suit and cap. So it wasn't just about the red robes now. Now he's kind of defining with the suit and the cap. Now it's kind of, the sort of the trimmings and all the attire shaping itself. Also the white fur lining, which we mentioned, and the black buckled belt. So that's what it's going to give in shape more to the robes. Furthermore, St. Nicholas's migration to the North Pole is due most directly to Thomas Nast, whose drawings featured a village called Santa Clausville, NP. NP standing for North Pole.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And that was in the 1870s.
Nice.
Lastly, in terms of look now, and as Rick mentioned, we move on to the Coca-Cola campaign. In the 1930s, Coca-Cola commissioned artist Haddon Sundblom to create festive images for their holiday campaigns. Sundblom's idealized plump and jolly Santa, often depicted with a Coke in hand, became immensely popular, even as we know it today. Oh, I actually put in brackets, FYI, I've actually seen one of the Coca-Cola advert lorries in real life. Just want to put that out there.
So have I.
Don't take this away from me. Why would you do this?
Serhan's highlight for the last 20 years. I saw a Coca-Cola van.
I think I've seen it a few times.
I've only seen it once. I saw it outside London O2.
Yeah, they go to like popular places. They like get loads. They give out loads of cans of Coke for free.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Like little ones, little cans. It's cool.
So contrary to popular belief, however, Rikesh, it was not Coca-Cola who initially established the red robe imagery of Santa Claus, although their and Sundblom's influence and solidification of the red and white imagery cannot be denied.
Interesting. It wasn't Coke. I thought that was a fact.
I always heard it was Coke that designed the look of Santa Claus with the beard and the red and white and everything, and that just helped. I had no idea. But there you go.
I thought Coca-Cola had directly done it as well. I thought it was because of them, but it's not. I think they've just, especially for visual media, just established and solidified that imagery more. Right. So our next segment, I've called it Elves, Bells, and Reindeers.
It's not as good as the last one.
Nah, slacking.
Charlie, you didn't even like it the last one. Oh, yours.
And I hated this one even more.
Gosh, no Christmas spirit in
ruining this year. There's no Christmas spirit from the moment I said Christmas. I hate you all.
It's a Scrooge with rabies.
No, Charlie, you could look a bit Scrooge-ish, You just matted their hair a little bit, put a little cap, a little walking stick in your hand. I can see you. Doing that with kids.
Phrasing, poor choice of words. Phrase that again. Jesus Christ.
No. Scrooge is always shown outside the window where the kids are like, "Please, sir, Christmas spirit," and he's like, humbug, and then he kicks them. That's the Scrooge I remember.
Mm.
No.
We watched different Christmas carols, I think.
Dive kick from the window.
One. To the head. So, elves, bells, and reindeers. So, now with the look, feel, and now location of Santa slowly being established, we now move on to his so-called little helpers, otherwise known as Santa's elves. Venturing into the rich tapestry of global folklore, elves have woven themselves into mythologies for over a millennium and in a variety of ways. In ancient Norse traditions, these magical beings were known as Alfar or Huldufólk. Now, I just want to add something in here. There's a lot of words that aren't English or Turkish, and I do not know how to pronounce them. I made the executive decision to not look at any real pronunciation of any of these words, so I am equally wrong on all of them, and I'm putting it out.
That seems like the complete opposite thing of what you should have done.
It is the opposite, but I was like, if I do one, it's not fair if I don't do all. And I'm
equal
talking about
discrimination.
Yeah,
nice.
Thank you.
You definitely picked the easier option there.
I am self-parking this podcast episode. So, beings known as Alfar or Huldufólk, denoting or meaning hidden folk, a catch-all term encompassing supernatural entities inhabiting the wilds. Elves evolved alongside fairies, gnomes, dwarves, and other mystical creatures. Taking a leap to the old English epic Beowulf, which is 700 to 1000 AD, about a line from the epic story reads, "Of Cain awoke all that woeful breed, Etchins and elves and evil spirits, as well as the giants that warred with God." Elves, at times, alternated between benevolent and mischievous, with tales attributing pranks and mischief to them. Fast forward to William Shakespeare's A Midsummer's Night Dream in the 1590s, portrays elves as less malevolent and more mischievous. Puck, a character in the play, embodies the trickster elf himself.
Yep.
I think I would. It's safe to say that I'm not saying we're exactly historic, but I think we all had a feeling of elves of that sense. Like when you think of old folklore, elves are a bit more like ghastly and dark. Yeah, a bit more freaky. Whereas now they've got that light-hearted mischief.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I
It
guess
depends
so.
on the mythology. Like in certain mythology, elves are depicted as like evil bastards, like just want to corrupt things, and most other places they're just little mischievous things. Like
Was that a quote from something? The way you said it, they were known as evil bastards. I'm like, wow, you saying that was such authority.
That's me. You can quote me on this. Yeah. You can quote me.
Almost
Rikesh,
like
4th of December 2023.
almost like goblins, right? Like
yes,
kind of sort of like that.
Yeah, I think you're right. Goblins are in the same space where sometimes they've got that they're evil creatures, and sometimes they're kind of like D&D style. They're just normal people. Like they're talkable. They've got personalities, and sometimes they're just it's very left or right. And I think elves have had that same sort of journey. But I think now them being associated to Santa Claus and positivity and joy has definitely been in their favor. I mean, I remember. Go elves. Do you guys remember the story as kids, the elf and the shoemaker?
Yeah.
Familiar.
When the shoemaker would go to bed, he was quite poor, and the elves would come out and fix and make all his shoes for him and do all the stuff. And then one day he found them and they helped each other out somehow. Like, even that is like a positive twist on this folk.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Propaganda.
Propaganda. We helped their shoes, but we stabbed them as well. But yes, so the elves were first introduced in literature in 1856, with the image of Santa by this point being much older and more established. Emerging in US folklore in early 17th century, elves and their association to Christmas resides in the first half of the 19th century, with the Scandinavian Nisse or Tomte, with St. Nicholas himself being called an elf, as Fraser very, very acutely sort of observed in the poem A Visit from St. Nicholas. I always forgot the association, especially if you read the full version of the poem. It does even describe like the elfish look, but the pointed ears as well.
All right.
Really
I think
interesting.
But when you think about something like Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, when you think of elves, they're not little people.
No.
They're like human size and even more, but they've just got the pointed ears and obviously their magical abilities.
Just chuck some pointed ears on something and call it an elf, kind of thing.
Instantly
Basically.
an elf, right?
Yeah.
Sort of. And obviously they live a lot longer than humans. They're mystical, and it would kind of, in a weird way, make sense that he's like the king of the elves as an elf himself, than just this human, sort of like Oompa Loompa Charlie Chocolate, like Willy Wonka style. Like, I'm kind of ruling you a little bit. So the shift to elven Christmas traditions occurred in the mid-19th century with the renowned Scandinavian writer Abraham Victor Rydberg, reshaping the perception of elves through his stories such as The Christmas Tomten, released in 1871, which is summarized as: one cold, dark Christmas Eve, while waiting alone at home for the kindly old woman who had taken him in and cared for him, the little orphan boy Vig was whisked away by the Christmas elf and taken with him on his rounds of distributing goods and gifts among the people, rich and poor, who lived nearby. On the trip, he learned valuable lessons about humility and gratitude. While these beings once held reputations for pranks and mischief, they transformed into unequivocally good, albeit mischievous, helpers of Santa Claus.
Okay, mischievous is a much better image.
Well, yeah, especially for Santa. I think if they were kept as straight up dick, I mean, let alone they wouldn't have been associated with Santa, I think a lot of the kids would have probably tried to emulate them.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, I'm an elf, here's a shoe, stab! You know, no one wants that.
Stab.
They look like stabby people. Like, don't they got a little shiv, not even a knife, they got a little shiv, and they're like, oh, look at that!
Just sharpen their toothbrush real quick. That's it.
Merry Christmas! That's why they got pointed ears as well.
Maybe they were dicks, and then Saint Nick just took them on community service, serve their time.
Maybe that's what it is. After all this time, it's just been community service. That's why they wear the uniforms. They're just like, one day when I get out of here, stab, motherfucker, stab. While these beings once held reputations for pranks and mischief, they were slowly being transformed into beings of positivity and fun. Now, as for names and representations in other cultures, they are: in Germany, Santa's helpers are called Knecht Ruprecht. No research. Yeah. No research into any of this. Iceland boasts, and I love this one, Iceland boasts the Yule Lads. A group of 13 elves. I love this though. A group of 13 elves with, and I imagine this is purposeful, unpronounceable names.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Akatsuki.
Literally. I just love the fact that they're the Yule Lads. They all sound like they got like matching like tattoos or something with the Yule Lads. Right? What are you fucking doing? Merry fucking Christmas. The Dutch referred to Santa's helpers as Warte Piet, and Nordic countries like Finland and Sweden term Santa's helpers as Nisse. Again, no research. Now, I don't know why I don't know why it gives this information like this, but I've done so much research into the names. It doesn't seem like the names were established quite long ago, because the only way it explained this to me was according to modern internet law. So it seems like since the birth of the internet, they've been given like more so mainstream names, and I would imagine they've used them in like the Santa Claus movies and whatnot, but it's not been something in the law. So in the more modern internet law, Santa's elite team mentioned 6 elves, and they are as named: Alabaster Snowball, the administrator of Santa's infamous naughty and nice list. So now we're looking.
His name is Alabaster Snowball.
Yeah, they're really cheesy.
Is that 2 names or one?
That's one name. Alabaster
geez.
Snowball. That's his first and second name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're looking at the hierarchy of the sort of the business acumen and style of the ladder, the corporate side of Santa's.
Santa's work has a hierarchy. That's fucking
the pyramid.
crazy.
Yeah. So this is naughty and nice guy number 1. Number 2 is
That's
Bushy
mad.
Evergreen. So Bushy Evergreen is the ingenious inventor behind the magic toy-making machine, ensuring that every child receives delightful presents from the North Pole.
He made the toy making machine, so they don't make the toys. He has
And
a machine.
That's what I was going to say. I think now, obviously, they've PG'd a little bit of Santa, because I think the whole element of, are they his slaves or are they this? Sort of like how in the Johnny Depp version of Willy Wonka, they were like, oh no, he went to a jungle and he saved them. Like people, they feel like they have to show this extra component. I think I'm just throwing it out there.
It
But
would make
apparently-
sense, to be honest, if they
Yeah.
try and censor it in some kind of way, give it some kind of humane
Well,
explanation behind it nowadays.
Look, boys, they didn't mention a packing machine, so these guys are still packing shit. They might not be making them, but now
Just
they're
wrapping
still
them all
working
day.
on the Ford
I mean, if they
assembly
can make
line.
a toy making machine, I think they can make a wrapping machine.
Yeah, but what are they going to do? They're going to be jobless
true.
and homeless, and then we're going to get Christmas ads every year. Donate £3 a month for this elf. He has a job.
There's 6 of
And
them.
not
They're
really
execs now. It's fine.
There are. Number 3 is pepper mint sticks.
I like that one. Peppermint sticks. Nice.
The guardian of Santa's secret village, embodying the role of head of elf security. This guy's the bouncer to the North Pole.
Nice.
Come on, Pepper. Let's go.
He's just got the Yule lads behind him. Like, you all right? Let me pat you down. Turn around. What?
Where's your ID?
Slowly. Right, that's what I fucking said. Number 4 is Shinny Uppertree.
What?
I like that one as well.
First name Shinny, second name Uppertree. Santa's oldest friend and co-founder of the secret village, lending a touch of history and companionship to the festive abode. So this guy apparently helped him.
He was like 3 names down.
No, this isn't the hierarchy.
Friend, right?
This is just
Savage.
this is not the order of their importance.
Oh, I thought you were showing the hierarchy. I was
Yeah.
getting excited. I thought
It
he was
didn't
like,
really give me.
we're old friends, so here's a shit job.
He's like the co-founder.
You can just
He's
be
the
moral
co-founder.
support for
Yeah,
everyone
if you
else,
want to
that's
put it in a
fine.
hierarchy, he's not doing much more than how about
Probably
this?
got the Zuckerberg.
That's not. He just put the flag on the ground. North Pole, and that's it. That's all he did. 1,000 years later, I found this shit out. We know. We fucking know. Fucking shitty. Number 5 is Sugar Plum Mary. I don't know why it says AKA Merry Christmas. And she is in charge of all the sweet and treat production, assisting Mrs. Claus in the kitchen.
I was gonna say that one does sound kind of familiar. I don't know why that name sounded familiar, and then you said she makes the sweets, and I was like, oh, that probably that's why it rings a bell.
You would know that. You would know
Exactly.
that. Sweets. Oh my god.
Let's go.
And
So
the
is
last
that
mentioned
Mary as
one-
in the name Mary or like Merry Christmas?
No, like Mary.
Right.
Just standard
Okay.
Mary. So obviously they all play on words. They're not gonna if they're gonna be like Mary, then no, that's not a play on words. You're just saying Merry Christmas. And the last one mentioned on internet law, number 6, is
Batman.
Woo Norse Open Sleigh.
What?
WUNORSE and then Open Sleigh. Woo Norse Open
So it's
Sleigh.
meant to be like one horse
Yeah,
open sleigh, right?
open
One horse
sleigh, I
open
think-
sleigh.
Yeah, I think that's the And
Okay.
Open Sleigh is the steward of Santa's sleigh, as you would imagine, responsible for its maintenance and the well-being of the reindeer.
Okay.
Stable boy, gotcha.
Stable
Stable
boy.
boy. So we've come to this point, boys. Ad break.
No, just keep going.
Intro, break.
Let's do it.
No, I was trying to create a soundbite.
Keep going, mate.
Yeah, no,
No.
okay, yeah, sorry. I was
No
just
ads.
trying to catch up.
I hate ads.
You hate ads. So, boys, ad break.
Ad break.
Ad
Ad
break.
break.
Christmas ad break.
break.
Christmas ad break. Ad break. Ba-na-na-na.
Santa Claus is coming. Santa Claus is coming.
Oh no.
Wow, Timmy, it's nearly Christmas. Are you excited?
Sure am. It's been a bit of a stressful year. Do you think Santa's gonna bring me a lot of presents?
Good question, Timmy. I'm not actually sure. Good thing I signed you up for the Naughty or Nice auto assessment.
Naughty or nice? What's that?
Well, Timmy, at the push of a button, it looks over your actions for the past year and determines whether you've been naughty or nice. If you've been really good, you'll receive a bunch of presents from Santa.
Yay!
But if you've been bad, Timmy, you might get a visit from Krampus instead, who will have a range of punishments for you.
Maybe I'll just leave it up to Santa. Santa.
Too late, Timmy. Your assessment has already come back.
Okay.
Let's see. Shared your Hyper Hank action figure with your friends at school. That's 5 nice points, Timmy.
Yay! That's great! Awesome!
Oh. Cross the street without looking both ways. That's 20 naughty points, Timmy.
But that doesn't seem very nice.
Time slipped into the past and caused a butterfly effect that meant the dinosaurs never went extinct. That's 500 naughty points, Timmy.
What? That wasn't even me! That was a variant! A variant!
Well, Timmy, I'll be honest. This isn't looking good. Looks like Krampus is due to visit you, beat you with a switch, set a Yule cat on you, and then drag you to hell.
That doesn't make any sense! Why would you sign me up for this? What kind of father are you?
That's enough, Timmy. You just got yourself banned from all future adverts. Now go to your room until Christmas Eve. Streamline your gift buying by signing your kid up to the Naughty or Nice auto assessment today. If your kid's anything like mine, you won't regret it.
I hate you.
In the last part, we explored the origin of the man himself, Santa Claus, leading us to his little elven helpers. And now, with part 2, we segue onto the rest of his posse, Santa's rides for far and near. I introduce to you his holy reindeer. Oh yeah!
Lamborghini,
Oh,
Porsche,
Hey,
Maserati.
No.
Maserati.
That will be the internet law. That will be like 2025. Yeah, man. On Lambo.
I love Audi.
I love my
I
Audi.
mean, the Gen Z's version of the reindeer.
Yeah, man. It's 50 horsepower. It's one reindeer. Yeah, but it's 50 horsepower. The fuck are you talking about? So, with the reindeer, we're going to take this at the segments that it comes. So, we start with the single reindeer as it was introduced. The first reference to Santa's sleigh being pulled by a reindeer, it appears in Old Santa Claus with Much Delight, an 1821 illustrated children's poem published in New York, with the author and illustrator unknown. The poem, with 8 colored lithographic illustrations, which was a printing style technique at the time, was published in William B. Gilley as a small paperback book entitled The Children's Friend, A New Year's Present to the Little Ones from 5 to 12. The illustration to the first verse features a sleigh with a sign saying rewards. So not presents or gifts, just rewards being pulled by an unnamed single reindeer.
Find this man.
Yeah.
Bushy beard, red hair.
But I guess it would make more sense to call it rewards because the whole element is the naughty and nice. You're being rewarded for being good rather
That's
than
true.
it's a gift for just
Yeah.
being an asshole. So jumping from 1821 to 1823 now, we jump to 8 reindeer, which is obviously, as I've mentioned many times above, the poem by Clement Seymour, A Visit from St. Nicholas. This is largely credited for the modern Christmas lore that includes 8 named reindeer. All 8 reindeer were named. The first 6 being Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, and Cupid. And the final originally were named Dunder and Blixen, meaning thunder, and lightning in colloquial New York Dutch. As you notice, the last two names are not so familiar anymore, as Moore altered the names of the last two reindeer several times. In an early 1860s version of the poem, written as a gift to a friend, are named Donder and Blitzen. Donder is standard Dutch for thunder, while Blitzen is derived from the standard Dutch Bliksem, meaning lightning again, influenced by German Blitz. And it also helps that it rhymes with vixen. The modern German spelling of Donner came into use only in the early 20th century, well after Moore's death.
That's Donner.
It literally is spelled like that, yeah. The last two names obviously changed quite a lot. And like I said, the guy didn't write the poem for a professional sense. It was for his children. And obviously he's writing it to like friends and family. So he's changing it up and around. And especially for the last two, that's where the hook for the rhyme and the flow of the poem is. And like you said, it's going to go from standard Dutch to like a New York colloquial amalgamation Dutch combined. And obviously there's sort of slang incorporated. And then it got turned into the German direct spelling of it.
So did he had the idea of the sleigh being pulled by reindeer, or he just named the reindeer?
No, so in 1821, the first segment I just read of the single reindeer, that's the first time any time it was ever illustrated of a reindeer pulling. And then by his poem, 2 years later, he put it down as 8 reindeer. But the idea of reindeer pulling was already.
But he only did that for like his family, and it got.
He done it originally for his children.
Nice.
And it was his friend that might have received it or heard his poem,
leaked it.
And he, well, not even leaked it. He kind of
leaked it to the press.
Yeah, but on his behalf, though, made millions.
Sold it to Coca-Cola.
Yeah, the Julian Assange put it on
Yes,
WikiLeaks.
back in 1823, this guy, his anonymous friend, was like, "Yo,
he's a time traveler."
Reindeer. But the last part of this is L. Frank Baum's 10 Reindeer. L. Frank Baum's story, the
many.
life and
Not believable.
I thought you meant his name. I thought you meant like L. Frank Baum. Like, no, that's too many. That's too many names. I thought that's what you meant. So I'm just gonna say Frank's story, the life and adventures of Santa Claus in 1902, includes a list of 10 reindeer, none of which match Moore's reindeer above. I'm going to read you some of these names. They're all different. They make sense, but it doesn't connect it. It just feels wrong, and you're gonna share this feeling. So in this story, Santa's principal reindeer are Flossie and Glossy, and he gathers others named Racer and Pacer, Reckless and Speckless, Fearless and Peerless, and Ready and Steady.
Fuck is Speckless?
Ready and
fuck is
steady.
Speckless?
Speckless is like when you're
lazy.
clean, right?
When you're what? Clean.
Wow.
Clean, like this I don't know, this room is speckless. There's not a speck in sight. I don't like it. They're not bad. They're a good rhyme, and they're obviously more.
You know when you get those like knockoff toys, those knockoff packs of toys, and it's got like
exactly
green next to Batman, and
these are like Wish reindeer you receive from Wish.
No, this is more like the Stephen He channel that I watch. You know, the emotional damage guy.
Yeah.
And he always does those skits where he's like talking about the real stuff, and it's like X-Men is X-Man or something, and it was like Sprite is Sprint or something. Like all these really weird knockoffs that exist. This is what this feels like. Crazy, you put it in one. This is like my parents buying me a toy in, I don't know, from somewhere that they shouldn't have or something, like from a pound store. And it's like, look, it's Batman. I'm like, no. He's green and he's got horns and wings.
He's got a tail.
He's got a tail? Does Batman have a tail? No. So, now with all of this said and done, there's obviously still one more reindeer to mention. Probably the most infamous of all his reindeer. Guiding Santa's sleigh through the night, helping him make the Christmas year, with his nose burning ever so bright. We love and know him as Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Never heard of him. Who?
I actually forgot about him writing about this. It was one of those moments again. I was like, oh, reindeer, yeah, the Vixen, Dixon, Blixen, all that jazz. And I was like, my reading and research was like, oh,
Nixon.
Rudolph. So I was
Rudolph.
like,
Richard
another
Nixon.
segment had to come up. So this is actually quite an interesting one, I must admit. So the story of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer began in 1939 with a Jewish Chicago copywriter named Robert May. May worked in the ad department of Montgomery Ward, a department store chain second only to Sears as America's largest retailer. Every year, they purchased and gave away free Christmas coloring books, but they decided that particular year to create their own. They gave the task of writing it and creating it to May with the instructions, make it about an animal. However, Robert May's story unfortunately will take a tragic turn. The same year, May's wife contracted cancer, and when she died a few months later, he was left to raise their younger daughter Barbara alone. His employer suggested he quit work on the book and turn in whatever he had done so far, but May refused, writing years later, "I needed Rudolph now more than ever." Remembering his daughter's love for the deer at the Lincoln Park Zoo, May invented for the subject of his book a little... Sorry,
Lincoln Park. Oh.
I love how that's what you take from this. Son of a bitch. I actually never picked up on that. Lincoln Park Zoo. Lincoln Zoo, all right? There you go, Rune. So, remembering his daughter's love for deer, May invented for the subject of his book a little reindeer with a shiny nose. He thought this creature might become a symbol for himself and Barbara that happier times lay ahead, hence leading the way. He was right. When Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer came out at Christmas 1939, it was an instant hit. Montgomery Ward gave out 2.4 million copies and only stopped issuing it afterwards because of wartime restrictions on paper. When they resumed, however, in 1946, it was even more popular. For all his efforts, Robert May never received anything more than his salary. But that changed in 1947, and this is quite a nice thing to hear because you don't hear about these sort of creators getting the recognition they deserve. I don't know how to pronounce this man's name. Sewell? Sewell?
Yeah, Sewell.
Yeah,
Sewell.
probably.
Sewell Avery, the head of Montgomery Ward in 1947, perhaps moved by the spirit of the holiday, gave all the rights to Rudolph the Reindeer to the copywriter May himself. It was the first time the company had ever done so. Now, this is the creation of this figure, and obviously it comes with mixed in with a lot of heartache and loss. Before I just touch on the last little segment of this, what do you guys think so far of, Rudolph the Reindeer's origin?
Sad but cute. Bittersweet, isn't it? But,
Yeah.
It sounds
come
like what would follow as, how lots of Christmas songs kind of come out and try to hit that number one or try to reach that kind of
Christmas hit, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
But this was done sort of genuinely, and it created a new sort of Christmas character as well. It's iconic in a way.
Yeah.
Even today, try and find someone who doesn't know Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. You can try and name all the reindeer. You probably might name a few, but I guarantee you everyone is gonna know Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It helps that the song is super catchy as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know when the song came out in correlation.
I am glad you've mentioned the song, because that's where we end this particular segment of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So, taking the legend of Rudolph to the next level, this was all followed by songwriter Johnny Marks creating the classic song we love and know today, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And I'll stop there before we get copyrighted. This came to head with Marks being a Rudolph fan and jotting down lyrics for many, many years. And finally adding the musical score after, which is kind of a nice story. So he was heard of Rudolph, writing lyrics, he's a music creator. He's starting to create the musical score now. And he done all of this after his marriage to, would you have guessed it, the original creator's sister, Margaret May. So he married the Rudolph the Reindeer is Robert May's sister. With apprehension, however, from the record label, Marx ended up releasing it as a side B song. Surprisingly, well, kind of unsurprising now, the B-side became the second best-selling Christmas song ever, trailing only White Christmas in January 12, 1949. Lastly, with this song, in 1964, Johnny Marx's song inspired the iconic, and I think we've all known it or at least watched it at least once, the iconic stop-motion Rudolph film, remaining the longest-running Christmas TV special, airing every year. This film, though, has aired every year since its creation in 1964.
Still today.
Still to this day. That's
Christmas. Awesome. That's what Community based their Christmas episode on, right?
Yes, that style. And
that's the DVD that Abed had, wasn't it?
I don't know. The one that he was watching with his mum.
Yeah, I think that was it.
It's a bit of a twisted cartoon, probably more relevant to its time, where like Santa's like really bagging on Rudolph, like, you're different, you're wrong, why is your nose bright? And it's only when he's kind of useful at the end, it's like, oh, you're a good guy.
The other reindeers as well, aren't they? They kind of like
shun they kind of bully him. Yeah, they shun him. It's sort of the whole, is it like the ugly duckling story vibe? But I don't. It might be the moral. I haven't watched it since I was a little boy, but I forgot about the film. But yeah, that is the creation. It's the very well-known song, which obviously inspired the movie.
Easy.
Nice. Does Rudolph ever make you guys think of that Family Guy sketch? It's like it's Rudolph in the hospital and the doctor's like, no, it's a tumor.
It's a tumor. Yeah.
Is it filled with glee? No, it's filled with cancer. It's so brutal.
That doesn't surprise me. I feel there's been a few more. I feel like I remember Rudolph with a shotgun. I don't know why or how. I don't know.
Nice.
There's too much in my head right now.
My mind went to like a deer, I think, smoking or something, but I think that's a different skit.
I always just remember there's a bear in my cereal, and it's just
This porridge tastes different.
Hey, honey, how's your porridge? Oh, it's kind of nice. There's a bit of, oh my god, there's a bear in my cereal. It's just the Okie dokie. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have gone through the history, the backlog, the looks, the influences, even the satire of Santa and his imagery and all things associated to him. And all that's left is to touch upon now is, amidst festive times where joy and warmth transfigures, blend Christmas cultures, shaping heartwarming traditions. This is exploring unconventional Christmas traditions across the globe.
No, right, yeah. I'll be interested to hear how different. I guess it's not a different culture, right? It's just like different
traditions.
Yeah, interpretations.
Yeah.
Versions.
Well, yeah, so I guess the most accurate thing to say, this should go without saying, but I'm going to say anyways, these are different traditions from what we know in the UK. Because in their own countries, this is their tradition, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes without saying it, but yes. So
very interested. Very
but
interested.
These are also unconventional, though. This is not necessarily like, oh, a whole country does this. It might be like a specific place that does this within the country, for example.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
So I start off with number one. I call this one Bad Santa. This is from Austria. You've heard of the naughty and nice list, but have you heard of the naughty and nice Santas? No? Well, in Austria, streets come alive with the presence of Santa Claus and his accomplice, Krampus.
Krampus. Yeah. Krampus, yeah.
The sinister partner of St. Nicholas. He terrifies badly behaved children with ghostly pranks during December.
Sounds like a heartless and a nobody.
Yeah!
Does.
It really
Where did
does.
you say this one originated from, sorry?
Austria?
So this is not Krampus necessarily being originated from Austria. This is just a modern day tradition that they have, that Krampus is on their streets as well.
Right, because I
Good
thought it was
Santa.
Terry Pratchett who created the Krampus, wasn't it?
So yeah, this is not about the people. This is about the continued tradition currently.
Right.
So
Okay.
yeah, I don't know who created Krampus, but it's just that he's on their streets. So
Right. Cool.
He ran away to Austria, seeking
He did.
asylum.
He looked for Arnie. He was like, Arnie will protect me. Ow, you've been a good boy. So the next one is called A Cobweb Christmas.
I was just looking up, and one of the things that people ask is, what does Krampus do to children? Krampus beats those who are naughty with branches and sticks. In some cases, he is said to eat them or take
that's a
them
step.
to hell.
Wow. Okay, I'm sorry. Hitting them with sticks and branches. All right, I kind of laughed.
Thing.
And it went to murder and cannibalism and
Cannibalism.
fucking hell.
Jesus fucking Christ! Don't fuck
man.
around in Austria, Jesus.
This is why no one grew up right back in the old days, man. They were terrified that Krampus was either going to hit them with a stick or eat them and send them to hell.
You're gonna hold my hand, Timmy? No, Mom, no. Timmy, hold my hand. No, Timmy.
Take this, Timmy.
Boy.
Krampus gonna get you.
Just as a kid, just be like, just the mom's like, you've been bad, Timmy. The kid just walks past the tree. Oh, it's a branch. No, please, I'm sorry. Oh.
Forever
Nature.
PTSD any time of tree or branches on the road. Oh, no. Krampus.
Christmas is traditionally a freaking tree in the middle. You're like just sitting there like
Jesus.
So the next tradition we move on to is called, or as I've called it, a cobweb Christmas. We know of tinsels, mistletoe, and stars atop the tree. But did you know Ukrainians opt for decorations mimicking spiders' webs, which for them symbolizes good fortune? Legend has it that spiders helped a poor widow decorate her tree, leading to this unique tradition.
No. Let's just
I knew Rick will like this one. I like it. I like
Anyone who sees a
Yeah, I
spider
think we
and
should
thinks,
adopt
it's
that
Christmas. They're wrong. Wrong in the head.
But it's kind of the opposite. We kind of do that, but in the opposite end of the spectrum of like Halloween, where you kind of get like the fake cobwebs and you hang it off like a bush or something.
Because they're scary, and Halloween's about
that's
scary.
Halloween.
I know. I'm
Christmas.
just
The idea of, look, a little family of spiders are on our tree. Yay! Oh my god.
well, they helped
even
the old
worse.
woman. Okay, Charlie.
You're
She was
relocated.
old and alone and widowed and poor and cold.
Widowed.
All the
Ironic.
decorations she could have.
Black Widow.
Oh! So the next tradition is called Colonel Santa. When it comes to Christmas,
really thought you was going to go Colonel
Oh.
Sanders there for a
Yeah.
second.
well,
Don't tell me you make KFC.
hold your
5
breath.
points.
Hold your breath. 5 points to the frazzle door. When it comes to Christmas, food is synonymous. You've got turkey, stuffing, roast potatoes, veg, and KFC. You heard me correctly. Yes, KFC in Japan. KFC has become synonymous with Christmas after a successful marketing campaign in 1974, which was another campaign that may have solidified Santa's red and white attire in the East, like Coca-Cola did for the West. Families nationwide partake in a special Christmas Eve meal at KFC, creating an unexpected holiday tradition.
I've heard
Does
of this.
everyone do that?
I don't know. I don't know if it's everyone, but it's like saying a tradition in the UK is stocking. Well, does everyone do it? No, but it's there.
Imagine we had a tradition where every year you went to a fucking fast food restaurant. Them fast food restaurants would be flooded. Like,
Yeah,
you'd have
but
to book
like,
it.
even with like the Coca-Cola campaign, it's not like everybody goes and buys Coca-Cola on Christmas now, really.
No,
It's just like
I guess it might have been like when was it? 1970?
74, but yeah.
74. It probably peaked and then has been dropping since then.
Probably. I think it was more interesting because when I was doing the whole research into the look of him, it was a lot of like, oh, especially in Japan, the connotation of the red and white is now a bit more closely solidified, not just established more so through KFC. And I thought that's interesting. And I looked more into it. There's so many pictures of like the head of like Japan KFC, like shaking hands with like a Santa Claus or something with like a bucket of chicken. I'm like, this is so weird.
Wow.
That is wild. That's a bit random.
God bless Japan.
Yeah, I love it.
Nothing to do with Santa, but I guess that is Coke. So, yeah.
No, not at all. It's literally brown fizziness in a bottle.
Color association.
Yeah.
So the next one I have called Pickle Rick in a Tree. Hiding presents is definitely part of the Christmas procedure. But did you know in Germany, the Christmas trees themselves have something to hide? And yes, you guessed it, a pickle. And the child who discovers it receives a special gift. The origin is debated with legends tracing it back to Germany or Spain.
Ah.
That's really cute. I bet that was just one like parent who did that for their kids, and then their kids did it for their kids, and then their kids, and then it just spread. I think that's cute.
I kind of connected it to like, how, I don't know which pudding it is, especially in this country. I know other cultures do it where they put a coin in it.
Christmas pudding, yeah.
In the Christmas pudding. And like, if someone was to read that outside of the country, outside of that tradition, you'd be like, well, that's kind of fucking dangerous. You're going to swallow a coin or die or check. But it's like, no, but it makes sense when it's part of that tradition that you're kind of raised with.
My family did that every year. Put cool. the coin in the pudding. Yeah.
Oh.
Hurts when you got fillings.
My family would be is way too paranoid for that. 110%.
Especially with you wolf your food down.
Absolutely.
You would have done a whole purse of money. She'd be like, he's eaten 7. He's not started it yet.
Gonna get to the hospital like, how have you got copper poisoning? I just love coins.
Just jingling the whole way. Jingle.
Jingle bell, I am poisoned.
Silly.
So the next one is called roller skate mass. When we think of skating at Christmas, the closest we may think is a spin in a festive ice skating rink. But remove the ice part and you're left with the Christmas tradition from Venezuela. Christmas morning in Caracas sees city dwellers roller skating to mass. Traditionally, children tie their skates to their window on Christmas morning for friends to wake them up and hit the streets. Roads are closed to traffic and streets are packed with the masses on a different type of wheels.
That's awesome.
Oh, this is Venezuela, you said, sorry.
Yes, it's very specifically Caracas within Venezuela. So again, it's nice, the place within a place now.
I mean, it's a shame they're going to mass because that's a bit. I assume boring, but I'm on board for roller skating to like work that day or
literally just leaving your roller skates outside for your mates to come and knock on you, be like, hey, you just got your skates, let's go. That's kind of cool.
Like skate day, isn't it? That's awesome.
Yeah, I'd love to wake up on Christmas and my mate be like, let's go, we're gonna go skating.
Yeah. the fact that Caracas takes it so serious that they're willing to close down roads that we would do for like a marathon run or a cycling event or something, I think that's even more cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like it's not just unspoken. Yeah. The next one is called a festive sauna. The only steam we know of at Christmas is possibly the hot steam from the food, the drinks, and the hot cup of cocoa, but not for Finland. Finnish homes equipped with saunas see families stripped down for a respectful Christmas Eve sauna. It is believed that their ancestors' spirits join in the bubbling water after the session in this tradition.
Oh, that sounds good.
I mean, coming from a cold country, I would want a sauna even if it wasn't Christmas Eve, but I would imagine that like treating yourself.
How many people just have saunas for that to become a tradition?
That is a good
Or do you go to the sauna?
Well,
I know in Finland, a lot of houses are built with a sauna inside. It's like a standard thing.
I think it's something.
In a lot of houses in Finland,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I want a sauna. I'm going to move
Yeah, I
Finland.
think the way we imagine things to be of like, oh, you need to be quite well off to have certain things, certain commodities in homes. Obviously, in their countries, it's like I
That's
remember
standard.
my
Saunas aren't like
standard.
expensive to build or anything, are they? They're like just wood and coal.
It's a little room with the steam thing in there. That's all you need.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I think you need to build it in such a way. But I would imagine for such a cold country, that was probably looked as almost more of a necessity.
Yeah.
Mm,
It's already
yeah.
in the plans, no issue.
Yeah, kind of. It's sort of like how in Europe, it's not. This is not going to be nearly as a comparison, but you know, like in Europe, they will just build a bidet. It's built into their structure. It's not even thought about. I think it might have that same sort of conception.
Okay.
I'd love to go have a hot tub or go to a hot spring on
Christmas, right?
Christmas Day.
Well,
Yeah.
Christmas. I think especially as
That'd
a
be sick.
Christmas Eve thing, the idea of like especially it's a relaxing thing,
Mm-hmm.
and you get to do it with other people. You sit, you chill, you talk, you sweat, but you talk as well.
Mm.
These are cool things, I must admit.
Yeah.
The next one is called Shoes by the Fire. When we think of Santa Claus treats or bribes, we think of a glass of milk, cookies, and maybe some carrots for the reindeers to sweeten the deal and haul for the gifts in our stockings rather than coal. In the Netherlands, however, the tradition for Santa bribery, as I put it, is a little different. Dutch children place shoes by the fire, hoping Santa Claus will fill them with treats, with carrots for Santa Claus's horse, and avoiding the threat of a potato instead of coal, as we would put it.
What? Avoiding the
It's a
threat
bit-
of a potato instead of coal.
Strange.
Wait,
so-
they don't want a potato. They'd rather have
No,
coal.
no, sorry. The way I worded it, so it's the threat of the potato instead of gifts compared to our coal, basically.
Oh, okay, right, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, in our country, it's coal or gifts. Gifts for them, it's a potato or gifts.
I mean, that's a step up. It's a step
Yeah.
up from coal.
You can
You
eat,
can eat a potato.
but you can turn a coal
You
into
can do a
diamond.
lot with a potato. You can turn it into alcohol if you really want to.
Yeah,
Can't do
dude,
much
I don't
with
think
coal.
I don't think kids can turn coal into diamond.
You don't know that, Charlie.
I don't think
You
they
don't
were
know
getting
what
coal
Timmy's
and being like,
seen.
"Oh my god, we're rich." How do you turn coal into diamond?
Pressure.
You need a lot of pressure.
Very
Oh,
high
it's just a
pressure.
kid on Christmas.
You
Like,
get like a tiny
Ah!
speck of a diamond.
It would be a tiny speck.
oh right,
You
okay.
kind of combust it. So this next one, I've actually had a direct person tell me about this and actually correct me. So I may have got some of these wrong or mispronounced certain things because I put this down as originally Belfana the Witch.
Just flame him in the comments if he's got anything wrong.
People are like, I'll kill him. But as Tanya corrected me, for Italy, it is Befana the Witch. No L. Befana the Witch. She kind of got excited about this. So this is a Christmas tradition, but it's done in January, but it's connected with the Christmas tradition vibe. So think Halloween meets Christmas, and what do you get? Befana, of course. In Italy, Befana, an old woman, visits children on the eve of January 6th, filling stockings with candy. Children leave treats for Befana as she enters through the chimney.
Well, wait. They leave gifts for her.
Sort of the cookies and milk vibe. And then if she takes the treat for herself, and then she leaves you loads of sweets in your stockings.
He's late though.
It's done as just a January
And
thing.
a
I don't know
woman.
why. But when I asked Tanya, she was like, you don't always necessarily, it's not always about, it's a bit of a Krampus and Santa Claus mix. So if you've been bad, she will come beat you with a stick.
And then eat you and then drag you to hell, I guess, as well. Usually comes with the stick.
Yes, that does come with the stick. I mean, so much that she was reflecting that some of her family members have said that as a child they swear that they like Befana came to them in their dreams or in their sleep and hit them with a stick. Like they really put it into their head that much. Like she was like, my brother was scared that he was convinced to this day that he was hit by a stick. And I'm like, okay, like I can't laugh, but
Well,
they get loads of sweets. Apparently, it's a very sweet chocolate based time they get.
okay. That's cool.
So the next one is called the Yule Cat. Meow. If the threat of the cold, crazy family and socks wasn't bad enough on Christmas, then they are nothing compared to the Yule Cat of Iceland. From folklore, the Yule Cat is a huge and vicious cat that is said to lurk in the snowy countryside during the Christmas season and eat people and children that do not receive any new clothing to wear before Christmas Eve, emphasizing the buying of new clothes before then, as is their tradition.
I mean, children are people. Just want to clarify that for our audience. They're not two separate things. Children are people. We support that message.
You have not met Timmy, okay?
It sounds like a marketing campaign.
I
The
think
Debenhams buy our clothes, or we'll send the Yule Cat.
Or we'll send the cat. Yeah, the Yule Cat. Man,
I just thought like that was a really good excuse for your children to have clothes and not be like, I want toys, but you have to have it before Christmas Eve, which is strange. Maybe it's like a survival thing of it's cold, wear your coats and jackets and hoodies and gloves, and I don't know. I don't actually know, but there is a big threat.
The more you like explain about all the different countries and stuff, the more it kind of reflects religion a lot more, and how it like there's always if you don't, this will get you. You know, there's always a catch. That, like, you know, if you don't believe in God, if you don't worship God, you will go to hell. You know, if it's kind of fucked up. It's really
a bit manipulative,
messy.
I feel,
yeah.
It's a tool and a device trying to instill a baseline of morals into people that not everyone shares.
Yeah.
So it's basically, it's that level, but it's obviously someone else's stand. It's not, and again, it comes with like the sort of the deadly sins and what to do and sort of the word and rules of God. And I do understand it, and I especially understand it at a time where maybe people needed it more. But I don't know. Maybe if we're not raised with that guilt trip, people would be more likely. The pros and cons. There would be some people being much more free, and I would imagine some people much more of the Wild West side of breaking.
I think we got to try and remember, like, all of these traditions are like from way back in the day, right? When the internet wasn't really a thing, everyone was a lot more religious or spiritual in some kind of way. So for them to like have some kind of threat with religion would make a lot more sense than being like, you know, gonna confiscate your iPad if you're naughty or something. It wouldn't have had the same effect. So I think that would have been the prime way of keeping people in check. So it kind of does make sense that it has a main focus to it. Yeah.
Just like, it's just mad that like everything was almost a fable to tell you if you're not, this will happen to you.
Yeah.
Like keeping people in order.
I think
Christmas was a device.
I think it's all lessons, right? We all try to teach our children to be good, to be nice, to be, you know, morally sound. And I think no matter what's going to come out of the world, it's going to be funneled into, if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen. You're going to be eaten by a giant cat in the snow.
Yeah, that's the thing, and it just seems excessive now. I guess maybe back then it was a lot more. Things were weird. Back then. History.
Right. History. The more you know. Bam, 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 bam. So the next one is called Christmas Caterpillars. We all love some Christmas grub, but we also love gummy bears in the shape of caterpillars, right? The sweets. So how do we choose? Well, boys, we don't, because in South African Christmas dishes take an unconventional turn with festive fried caterpillars. Specifically, the Christmas caterpillar, believed to bring luck in the festive time.
What's a Christmas caterpillar? What does it look like? Has it got a hat?
I actually don't know. I would check it out. Hey, how
imagine
you
like
doing
Mr.
there?
Hanky the Christmas poo, but as a caterpillar.
He's just there getting into the boiling oil, but like, oh, this is my Christmas sauna. Oh yeah.
I bet
what
it's
are you
hallucinogenic.
doing? No way. What are you doing? I really, you know, I don't know. I know it sounds disgusting, but I'm like, I bet it's really crunchy and really nice.
Yeah, it sounded actually quite nice.
I imagine the caterpillar's like red and green and I don't know, probably black or something.
You can Google it. You can absolutely do the Google thing with the button.
What does a Christmas caterpillar look like?
Christmas.
And where did you say this was a tradition? In South Africa, you said?
Caterpillar.
Yes, Charlie's favorite place.
It's
Hi.
colourful.
Let me see.
Oh,
I mean, I'm getting a lot of cake, but I think this is basically it. Orange and black.
Oh! Oh, it's too hairy. No, I don't want it. I don't want it. I'm okay. I'll
I
change
mean,
my
these
mind.
all
Hairy.
look a lot just like maggots, if you can see them.
Yeah.
They're just
You got your blood. but
maggot-y
yeah.
things.
Okay. I'm done. I'm okay. I changed my mind. Stop googling. All three of you are googling stuff now.
You know.
Oh, I mean, this
fine.
one is red and green. If that answers your question.
Yeah, there was a red and green one.
That's what Charlie showed me. Okay.
Oh my
thank you.
god!
That isn't a real caterpillar, right?
damn.
That was a cake.
You'll
Caterpillar
never
or a
know.
cake?
Suddenly, I'm not hungry. The next one is called Hide Your Brooms. Hide your brooms. Hide your wife. Hide your brooms. The sight of the robin in the sky is a sign of winter times and the festive time to come. But for Norway,
Thank you.
they are only one of the many signs in the sky of Christmas time. Norwegian folklore associates Christmas Eve with mischievous spirits and witches taking to the skies. We could add a better laugh there.
We'll just pitch it up, actually.
I can't go any higher. And to prevent these witches in the sky, families traditionally hide sweeping sticks / brooms to keep them away.
Interesting. Okay, so they put brooms out to scare witches.
No, they hide their brooms so they don't have nothing to fly with.
Oh, they hide their own brooms.
They
Like,
hide their own brooms. Yeah, they hide their
Because
own.
the witches would knock at the door, go into their house, take the broom, and then
Charlie,
fly around.
they're
Hey, it
spirits
wasn't here
and
last year.
witches.
Where did you put it?
Seems
Where's the
silly.
broom?
Just
It's a
walk
bit-
into the kitchen. It's just a massive witch. They're like, "Excuse me, listen, it was here last week. I've only seen a dustpan and brush. I ain't doing that again. Where's your broom? No, stop."
The dustpan and brush.
A dustpan and brush witch, just some cheap bitch. Like, I got there late. Fuck. So, the next one is called Christmas Turkey and Goose, but not my duck, because some people eat duck. We all have our own Christmas traditions with family and TV. For some, it may be the Queen's Speech. For others, it may be Home Alone or Rudolph the Reindeer. For Sweden, however, it is the unique tradition involving families gathering around the TV at 3 p.m. on Christmas Day to watch the 1958 Donald Duck Christmas special.
Hey.
Nice.
Mhm.
Wow.
Wow.
I could not do the voice. I tried. It didn't work. You did really well.
No,
That doesn't come
most of
through.
that didn't come through. Yeah,
Yeah,
it doesn't
I wish
recognise that as
you made
voice.
spazzing out a little bit.
Yeah,
Nope.
now Zoom's just like, no, that's copyright.
Disney
What are you-
Disney entered
what are
the
you
chat.
So the next one is called Alternative Christmas Tree. From New Zealand, so Kiwis, embrace the, and I'm not going to be able to pronounce this, and I didn't do my research, so I'm not going to try, Pohutukawa tree as their Christmas symbol, distinct from the traditional conifers. This tree is a bright crimson. This tree has bright crimson flowers, and beachside barbecues define their festive season. It is, I must admit, it's a crimson flower, and barbecues is their Christmas traditions because it's the other side of the world, so it's summer. It is a beautiful tree. If you do look it up, it is a very beautiful. It's still very festive, but it's got more of the red-y vibe to it.
What's it
And
called again?
What's it called, sorry?
So I'm going to give you the spelling: Pohutukawa tree.
Oh, it does look kind of cool.
Wow, that's
How
pretty.
beautiful! It's pretty.
It looks like someone's just chucked cans of red paint on top of a tree. Like it's so
The Christmas tree vibe,
oddly
isn't it?
beautiful. Like
It's super vibrant, yeah.
yeah, it really just pops. Wow, in HD it's even more amazing. Whoa, I want one of these
Charlie,
trees. Can
Charlie,
we get
I
one of
think
these
you're
trees?
just-
That's a
I
cool
think you're
tree.
just looking at the tree, mate.
Well, yeah, I am. What?
No, you said HD. I'm like, no, the tree's just in front of you. You're like, it's so real.
I'm just outside in a field.
Just outside. Whoa. Just
Wow,
headphones
grass.
on. Just Charlie's like, oh, Charlie, there's a Yule cat behind you. Wow. Witches around, beating you with dustpan and brushes.
Dragging me to
Dangerous
hell,
world out there.
eating me.
Dragging you to hell. So, the next one we go, I call a very fussy goat. Bah.
Oh, goat. Sorry if we said
Goat.
boat.
No, this is why I'm making the noises. I'm trying to, I need to clarify. And I know the mic isn't as clear. Yeah. We all know that one person in the house who wants the decorations and traditions to be just right. The stocking at the right angle, the tree and adjoining decorations perfectly spaced out. Well, Sweden can do one better. The Yule goat, bah, a symbol dating back to ancient times, transforms into the Gavle goat, a massive straw sculpture constructed yearly since 1966. In Sweden, people believe the Yule goat to be an invisible spirit that would appear before Christmas to make sure the holiday preparations were done correctly. The goat eventually took on the role of a gift giver, and is sometimes seen in the place of or alongside Santa, who is called Yulten.
Huh?
So this goat, Yulten, yes.
Oh, okay.
So this goat, when I saw pictures of it, it's like a straw sort of creation of it. It looks really familiar. Like I feel like I've seen this scattered around in certain places. Maybe there's decorations. If I'm not mistaken, I didn't add it on here. Some people kind of use it as like a very light-hearted neighbor prank where they put the goat outside their window at night. So it's like the goat sort of watching your house, like, hey, have you done it all properly? Have you prepped everything all right?
Ah.
Nice. Okay.
That's cool.
You can type the Yule goat, and it's a really familiar, but really.
Oh yeah, they sell them in Tiger.
Yes.
Flying Tiger. Yeah.
The stationery store.
I might get one of them.
Not in a Tiger. They're really beautiful though.
Yeah, they are cute.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, they just call it a straw goat on here, but
Yeah. Essentially, it's what it is. It is now. So the next one, and we're nearing the end of the traditions, is called, and I put it as the Giant Lantern Festival. In brightest day, in blackest night, no Christmas shall escape my sight. Let those who worship festives might beware my power. The Giant Lantern Festival's light.
That sounded like something from DC.
That's it. That took me like an hour to write. No, that's a play on the Green Lantern.
Yeah, I was going to say. Sounded like it.
So this I would definitely Google. This is a Philippine tradition originating with the idea of recreating the Star of Bethlehem. This festival features a competition of giant parole lanterns where people submit their giant lanterns, adjourning the city, showing their faith, festivities, and even with the possibility of prizes. San Fernando's Liglian Parole, the Giant Lantern Festival illuminating the Philippines, has become so renowned and popular that the city has been nicknamed the Christmas capital of the Philippines. This stuff is beautiful. Just put Giant Lantern Festival Philippines. It is so beautiful.
Cool.
Sorry for our listeners. We'll put maybe some visuals up on YouTube, but Google it if you can. It's just beautiful, man. It's all over the city.
Nice.
Let's have a look.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Like a festival of lights.
Literally, and it's all about recreating the Star of Bethlehem. But it looks so cool, man. The city has been nicknamed the Christmas capital of the Philippines. Imagine getting that tag in any country, the Christmas capital of that country.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I bet them things are huge. Them big disc things that surround the.
They look like small Ferris wheels, man.
Yeah, really cool. Really cool. Yeah, we'll put some images in the description.
Oh, definitely. Maybe in the description. Maybe on YouTube, just a little picture.
Now, do you know what, audience? Just bloody Google it.
Google, man. It's really cool.
We've done the bloody work. Google it. All right. I'll even do
we've
you
lost
one.
our listeners.
Okay, Google. Find me a picture of the. Fuck it, I can't remember what they were now.
Alexa,
I hope
book
that's it on all
flights
your
to the
phones.
Philippines.
Name:
I wonder if that'll
Charlie
work.
Eastwick, Fraser Roberts.
No.
Yes.
Uh,
So, boys, lastly, we end with a rather controversial Christmas tradition, but one that us, as the Red Jackson, have actually witnessed and actually mentioned. In Dutch tradition, Sinterklaas has a helper named Zwarte Piet, or Black Pete, who usually appears as a black-faced character with large gold earrings and exaggerated lips. In the weeks leading up to the Saints' Name Day, cities and towns host parades featuring hundreds of white people dressed as Piet. Now, tradition in the form of a parade was one we saw back in 2015, 2017. And I just put, boys, what do we remember and what do we think?
is that what it was? It was just like came out of nowhere. It's like you said, we just wanted to cross the road and suddenly there was this parade. I think you two guys got to watch it from the
window, yeah.
From the
Hotel
window.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then-
do you know what? It looked fun. Like it looked like everyone was having a really good time.
It looked fun from a distance. You know, they closed off the whole road. Everyone was like gathered on the sides. We were like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Throwing sweets out at everyone.
Bro, they were throwing cookies. I stood there,
yeah.
and don't get me wrong, this black-faced white guy looks at me and I'm like, already uncomfortable. I'm enjoying the vibe. I'm like, I'm kind of questioning myself a little bit. And, we was in damn, there was a little bit of tripping. And this guy just throws fucking cookies at me, man. I pulled myself around the brick wall and it was like, da, 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 and I'm like, it was like New Year's again, right? Like New Year's, the little kids were throwing like sparklers and shit on the floor, and they were so happy. And it
the cherry
explodes
bombs.
like
Yeah.
cherry bomb.
That
And it was the same here. I'm like, am I a pussy? Am I wrong? Am I broken? There's cookies being thrown at me. I'm closing my eyes. The kids are like, yeah, ball straight to the face. Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess piss me off more.
I guess nobody questions it. It's just really odd, like just to see casual blackface.
Yeah, I can't imagine it'll be around much longer.
I think it's already stopped.
Oh, has it? Yeah.
I don't think they do it anymore.
This tradition, as reported heavily, actually divided the country, as many deemed it to be racist in this controversial tradition, leading to many protests and debates. And when I looked into this, there was a heck of a lot of protests. It has since been cancelled and taken out of holiday traditions in these parades. I think it was taken out not long after we actually saw it. So
wow, so we might have seen one of the last couple of ones.
We've actually witnessed a tradition that no longer exists. They have an alternative tradition, which I think is slightly better. I get it. They're still keeping a tradition. And it's basically just like all the elves that try to help them. They've got a little bit of soot on the face.
Oh, right.
And there's nothing else. There's no exaggerated lips or earrings or jewelry. It's just more like, hey, we've come down the chimney to help. And that's more of the vibe now.
Right. Yeah, well, that's fair.
Yeah. Still, though, strange times.
Yeah.
Bonus tradition. Boom. Caught you off guard. You had no idea.
Whoa.
I call this bonus tradition impish or admirable. Some people may already know of this. This is because it's actually not mine. Impish or admirable. So our officially last tradition to be mentioned is the beloved, well-known and renowned Belschnickel. This, of course, refers to the portrayal of Belschnickel within The Office by Dwight Schrute, played by Rainn Wilson.
I don't
know.
know.
His name. Anyway, Dwight as Belschnickel, dressed in furs with a switch and a disheveled appearance, he takes on the role of a judge of character and decides whether people have been impish or admirable during the year. Carrying a switch, which is basically like a hard branch, with him to lightly, and I put in brackets lightly, hit the impish individuals and offer gifts or treats to those deemed admirable. The character of Belschnickel allows Dwight to infuse his German heritage and love for unique traditions into the holiday festivity, creating a memorable and amusing moment in the series. Now, I didn't know this, but looking into this, I thought this would be just a fun little additive as a bonus. This, actually, for those not in the know, is actually a real character in some parts of German folklore. Belsnickel is related to other companions of Saint Nicholas in the folklore of German-speaking Europe. He may have been based on the older German myth, Knecht Ruprecht, a servant of Saint Nicholas and a character from the northern Germany. Unlike those figures, Belsnickel does not accompany Saint Nicholas, but instead visits alone and combines both the threatening and the benign aspect, which in other traditions are divided between Saint Nicholas and the companion figure such as Krampus.
Yeah, makes sense.
Cool.
It's cool that it's based on a real thing, because that is quite a funny scene from The Office.
It is hilarious.
Yeah.
I had no idea though. Just like beating fucking Jim with the switch.
I love it when they call a stick, like a hitting stick, a switch. Same as
Community reminds me of
with,
Community, yeah.
Troy's nan.
Get me a switch. I just always remember it when what's her name, man? Britta just brings her the switch. She's so happy about it, and Troy's just like, I don't understand you. Just fucking beating her on the arse with it.
I love it.
Good switch. So I'm gonna go for the outro now, boys. All of these diverse and unique traditions add a rich tapestry to the global celebration of Christmas, demonstrating the myriad of ways cultures express joy and festivity. So I end today's podcast with this. Cue the royalty-free Christmas music! I swear.
Ding dong, dang dong.
Background, Fraser, background. You have all come from far and wide to listen to us discuss and stutter. And in this moment, you begin to surmise whether this has all been a waste of your time. Well, worry not, because Finn it is, and not a moment more left to have been. So wrap up warm and snuggle tight as Red Jack's On pushes through the festive night. We could say one last thing, but that would be the ends of your string. So I finally end this podcast as planned, wishing you all a Merry Christmas from Rick, Charlie, Fraser, and Serhan. Thank you for listening. I have been your festive host, and with me as always has been your jolly lad, Ollie, your merry man,
Saint Rickmas.
fuck you, and your sugar plum sir.
Sugar plum. Fraser.
Fraser. Enjoy the holidays, everyone, and Merry Christmas. Ho, ho,
Merry
ho!
Christmas, everyone.
Merry
everyone.
Christmas.
Have a Merry Christmas, guys. 100 more Christmas. Christmas
100 more
times
Christmas.
55.
100 more Christmas. Boys, 100 more. What are you
Christmas
lads?
forever.
What?